Hey everyone, welcome to Aussie Homeschool Adventures. My name is Jo. It's great to have you here. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, it's great to have you back. Are you right? My dog's come over for pats. So today's video I have for you five things that you don't need when you're starting to homeschool your children. So everyone talks about the things that you do need. I'm actually going to take a bit of a different spin on it, and I have a list of 5 things that people will often talk about or worry about when it comes to starting homeschool. Number 1, you don't need to be a teacher. You don't actually need to be a qualified teacher or a trained teacher or have any qualifications to homeschool your children. All you need is to love them and to be willing to learn with them and to grow with them and to have a go at it. So honestly, you don't need to be a trained teacher. I am not a trained teacher. I know many homeschool mums that are not trained teachers. So you don't need to be a teacher to homeschool your children. Number 2, a homeschool room. Yes, I have a space here that I have now made for homeschooling my kids. I've been homeschooling for 5 years. When we first started in my last house, we did homeschool at the dining room table. I know lots of people that homeschool in their dining rooms, or they homeschool in a little nook they've made in their kid's bedroom if they've got one child. You make a little bit of a space. You don't need a beautiful room like I have. Yes, it's a nice touch, but I could do without it. All you need is a little bit of space and some basic curriculum items, well, not even curriculum items, some basic stationery supplies, pencils, pens, erasers, glue, scissors, those kinds of things. That's the basic stuff that you'll need to get started. A laptop or an iPad is handy, but again, you can do it without it. The number 3 thing, the patience of a saint, or, never-ending patience. I hear all the time, I could never homeschool my children. You must have the patience of a saint. I couldn't do it. I don't have the patience. I could never do it. I don't have enough patience. I'll let you in on a little secret. I don't have enough patience either some days. There are days when I could quite cheerfully tie my kids to the washing line and leave them there for the day, just to have 5 minutes of peace because they're driving me bananas. But in all honesty, I don't have that much patience. I don't have any more patience than any other parent. I love my kids. They drive me nuts. But I love them, and homeschooling does work for us the majority of the time. They've gotten used to it. We've gotten into the rhythm. When you've got a good routine and a good rhythm down for homeschooling, that respect is there and it does just work a lot better. Not to say that it will always be easy or that it will be perfect, but you don't need to be some amazing, high-powered parent, patience saint to homeschool. The next thing, you don't need to have all the time in the world. You don't actually have to homeschool from Monday to Friday, 9 to 3 or 8 till 2 or whatever the school hours are that your kids are used to. Reality is that you can actually homeschool in 3 days a week, 4 days a week. Some do it in 5, some do it in 4. Some homeschool on the weekends, some homeschool only, maybe 2 days a week if you've got a really focused child and can achieve lots in those couple of days. They might be longer days. We do a 4-day week roughly. Sometimes we'll do some school on a Friday. Sometimes we don't. It depends on what's happening in our world and what their learning has been like that week. So we homeschool 4 days a week and we do school from 10 till about 2, give or take, depending on the day. So if we started earlier, we'd be finished earlier. If we started later, we'd be finished later. So you choose the hours that works for you. Depending on the age of your child will depend on the number of hours that you spend doing schoolwork or formal bookwork with your child. You can do bookwork in as little as an hour or 2 as little as an hour when they're quite young. The older they get, the amount of bookwork that they do will grow depending on the type of homeschool philosophy that you're following. So we are an eclectic homeschool family. I have a video about that. I will link it here and you can check that out and learn more a little bit about homeschooling styles and methods. There's lots of videos out there if you Google homeschool methods. There's eclectic, Charlotte Mason, unschooling, traditional, classical. So have a look, research it. But you don't have to even pick one style and stick to it. You don't even have to lock it in for whatever. The beauty of this is that you are in control, you and your child, and you get to set the pace. You get to set the style and the rhythm and the routine that works best for you. So you don't need all the time in the world. You can get it done in a couple of hours every day. And if that happens to be after you finished work, if that's how it works out for you, then you can do that as well. So just look into it, I suggest. Find out what you think you could do for you in a time frame that is good for your family. And the last thing, now this one's going to be a little bit controversial, even for me, because it doesn't quite align with me, but it does, but it doesn't, is that you don't actually need a curriculum. I'll say it again. You don't need a curriculum program to homeschool your children. I know, it's crazy. But if you want one, go for it. There are hundreds out there to choose from. Lots of different options, lots of different styles and formats. I do use curriculum, absolutely. But I know many people that homeschool successfully without using curriculum. So have a look into homeschooling methods. Like I said, research the different styles. Get to know your child, get to know what they learn, how they learn best. Whether they're visual, whether they're kinesthetics or hands-on, whether they're auditory learners, and choose stuff that they will work with them. I know my girls, I've had them since they were tiny, obviously, they're my babies, but I've always been with them, we've always homeschooled. So I know their learning styles, I know what works for them, I know that that unschooling is in its true form for us wouldn't really work, that we would achieve very little, and that doesn't sit well for me as a parent. So it's a matter of what works for you, what works for your children, and finding that happy medium. But you don't need a curriculum. There's lots of ways you can do things, from cooking and baking in the kitchen, talking about measurements and maths and grams and sizes of things, to building a chook pen in the backyard with your dad, with their dad or with you, and measuring the timbers they need and things like that. So there's lots of different ways that you can do maths and English. You can be writing a letter, reading a book and talking about it. So you don't need a curriculum. So there are 5 things that you don't need to start homeschooling. There's lots of things that you might want. You might want to have 5 days a week and 9 to 5 to homeschool, but you don't have to have it. So I hope this video hasn't been too controversial. I hope it hasn't been too challenging for you. I hope it's been interesting. I hope it's opened your eyes to the possibility that maybe you could homeschool your children, that it's worth trying it out. I've got lots of other videos here on my channel that all talk about homeschooling. I've got one here, I'll link it here, on tips on how to start homeschooling. There's so many different ways that you can do it. You just need to be willing to try, guys. It's honestly not as scary as it sounds. So I hope you find this video helpful. Please, if you haven't already, do hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. There'll be more homeschooling content coming out. Please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit the bell button to be notified of when I post new videos. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.